It is the hardened scales version.
It is the hardened scales version. Okay, so
we lied.
maybe not some cranial platings, but still Arcbound Ravagers for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, who do you like in these matchups?
Jund versus hardened scales. This isn't a matchup I've actually seen a whole lot.
Yeah.
Jund has ways to interact with hardened scales directly, which most decks don't. Hardened scales usually relies on decks don't have a lot of enchantment interaction, so hardened scales just kind of gets absurd value out of these things.
But Jund does have a little bit of that, so we kind of get to moving along here.
Yeah.
We see out of Jund, we have just the hand removal, which is actually going to be super useful. This Jund version is playing lightning bolts as opposed to Belfado, and I did speak to Belfado, and he goes, I thought fatal pushes / collective brutalities were enough.
Yeah.
And he's like, I freed up more slots by not playing them. So we're off to the races here, though, as we see the Darksteel Citadel come down, and we're underway.
Yep, we got an Arcbound worker there. It's a 1/1 modular, 0/0 modular 1. Comes in with a +1/+1 counter on it, and we'll see an Arcbound Ravager. All right.
So we're kind of off here. Fatal Push is going to come down, and it's going to, in response to the Ravager for sure.
Yep.
Nothing crazy going to happen here. Just a 1/1. That's it. It's innocent.
Yeah. What's that 1/1 going to do?
Yeah.
2 mana 1/1. What a waste.
What a waste. Justice is going to shock himself down to 18. Tap that for a Inquisition of Kozilek.
Yeah. So, like we mentioned earlier with Burn, Jund is not very good when a deck is redundant. All of their pieces do the same thing, but Hardened Scales Affinity is very much, each of their cards has a very different role and just works very well together. So, if Jund can, like we see here, just strip away all of these cards that are going to work well together, we're going to see Hardened Scales have a rough time.
And you see that there, Bolt, Inquisition, so all that's left really in the Hardened Scales player's hand is a Metallic Mimic, and it looks like he picked up a second copy of Walking Ballista.
Yep.
So
that's actually animation module.
So
we've got Walking Ballista and an animation module. And animation module, if you don't have a lot of things going on your board, not going to do a whole lot.
Oh yeah, he does have 2 Metallic Mimics, but animation modules.
Yep.
Jeez, goodness gracious.
That's all right.
Art's hard.
All of these cards from the same block, so easy to get some of the art.
Look kind of almost very similar, but have you ever in Sealed or Draft made the entire module?
I don't believe so, actually. Did you?
I had them in a pool. I didn't play them together.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, just wanting to win.
Were you not in those colors?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't play brown. So Thought sees you, and we're going to take your other Ballista. So just 16 life points, but at the cost of destroying your hand here.
Yeah, this is absolutely not what you want to see your Jund opponent doing to you. You really want to have all of your pieces working together, and Jund player just kind of playing unimpressive threat into unimpressive threat. Well, not unimpressive, just things you don't care about that much.
Right, Cedric Phillips going to be a servo here.
Yep.
A handsome servo.
He is a handsome servo.
We're going to just abrupt decay.
Man.
Arcbound Ravager down.
Kwon cannot catch a break here.
And I honestly don't know what to do if you're the Hardened Scales player.
Move to game 2.
Point. Yeah, move to game 2. Hopefully, we kind of...
No, there are a couple cards here out of Hardened Affinity that are actually pretty good against Jund. Hangerback Walker comes to mind. If you get to the... can get to that point and have a Hangerback Walker, you can... make a bunch of bodies for one body, and Jund can't deal with multiple things very well game 1.
Sure, yeah.
Also got Welding Jar out of Hardened Affinity.
He does have 3 of them, so there's some game there against the spot removal. But like I said, going wide with the modular is a good way to get around Jund, at least in game 1 before we bring in our sideboard cards.
Mm-hmm. And here we see Blinkmoth Nexus with a +1/+1 counter on it.
It looks like modular from the Raptor, right. I think, yeah.
Yep. It'd be another way for Kwon to close out the game here.
And looks like Kwon is firing up the Inkamoth here. And there was a little bit of a judge clarification on what's going on. That looks like they're at the table. They're kind of saying Arcbound Ravager is being resurrected.
For explanation purposes.
Right. A little bit of miscommunication looks like it happened, and just trying to make sure the judges are doing a good job of explaining to players what's going on. This dies, and now you get to move the counter somewhere. Was Blinkmoth Nexus around? Is kind of what I imagine the question was.
Right.
Do we properly activate it in time?
Or it could be a servo activation, +1/+1 counter being placed. Looks like Kwon is making another servo. That was probably the question, I would imagine. Something about the servo being made off of the animation module there. But back to Reames.
Shocking himself down to 14. 4-mana play here is probably going to be a big turn.
Bloodbraid
Elf, hello, welcome back to the show. What are we going to cast? Lightning Bolt. That's pretty good. Bolt Cedric Phillips there. Pretty rude, but whatever.
Cedric's bolted many people.
He's bolted many people, that's for sure. Bloodbraid Elf going to do battle, attacking for 3. No blocks, goes down to 17. Does Kwon.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Stoneforge Mystic being unbanned, and in the same vein, we haven't really gotten to see Bloodbraid shine that much because the decks that it was good in were very bad against graveyard decks, which came very, very much to power around the same time Bloodbraid was unbanned.
It was generously an unceremonious unbanning for this card, and it was kind of a shame. Hangerback Walker for 2, going to come down. That card gets to be a little bit problematic for Jund.
Yes.
Going to attack you for 1, so he's going to fall down to 13. Hangerback Walker plus the modular is actually starting to kind of be okay for Reames here, or for Kwon here. Reames got off to a good start, but this go wide strategy of the hard skills deck.
Yeah, Reames, unless he can string together some really impressive threats and really put a clock on the Kwon. If this game goes long, I can see Kwon taking over with just the Hangerback Walker.
And Kwon is going to take 3 more, fall down to 14. Maelstrom Pulse, your servo.
Okay.
So I like that a lot. They're going to clean those up. Still have a Hangerback Walker that's a little tough.
I could see maybe if Reames has a Fatal Push in hand, he might be waiting for Kwon to activate the Hangerback Walker before he goes for it. Just get 1 more mana out of the deal. We'll see.
Lining up a bigger play here. Kwon looks like he's going about to. Oh, I lied. 1 mana attack you.
Oh, and he's attacking with the Hangerback Walker. Yep. Maybe Kwon recognizes the Hangerback Walker might not be long for this world. So having it do its job while it can. Well, not its job, but its side job, which is attacking the opponent and putting their life to 0.
Yeah, putting him down to 10. That's a good start. It does look like the Blinkmoth Nexus is hiding.
Yeah.
Gonna attack.
Blinkmoth Nexus maybe, I mean it in another world.
Gonna attack for 3 with the Bloodbraid Elf. Gonna add a counter, make a servo, block it. And this is really where Kwon can kind of start grinding here.
Right.
Reames has no pressure on the life total. Hangerback Walker gets bigger every single day.
And I'm wondering if Hangerback Walker attacked that turn or if he just activated it, because that does require a tap to activate.
It's starting to look a little bit less like an attack.
Right.
Land comes into the play and hands a little bit off screen here, but he's still got a good grip of cards.
Yeah.
Looks like Reames only has 2,
Ravager.
and Ravager's a good combo piece for this deck. So
yes, Ravager plus Hangerback Walker is going to put a lot of stress on Reames.
Still in hand, coming down here as a servo. Gonna serve Kwon, hopefully.
So once you have Arcbound Ravager and Hangerback Walker on the field, you get a lot of options, and Jund has fewer options. Well, they still have a lot of options, but they're all bad now. If you kill the Arcbound Ravager, Kwon gets to make a play for, you can make a bunch of servos, you could put +1/+1 counters on Thopters. Really, Arcbound Ravager and Hangerback Walker can make just a very intimidating flying threat. And then even after that intimidating flying threat, you will have possibly other flying threats, depending on how Kwon chooses to utilize the servos with the Arcbound Ravager. So we'll see Kwon draw another card here.
The animation module is doing a lot of work here, as you can see. Just Kwon continuing to build his board. It looks like he's about to battle with the team for what looks to be 5, 6, 9. Bloodbraid Elf going to have to come in and block.
Yeah.
Hangerback Walker. That's
not looking great.
That's not what you want to be doing. And just attack you doesn't matter.
Yep.
I'm dead, says Mr. Reames.
Yep. So this is going to be. This matchup is certainly going to test the skill of the Jund player. Not that that game wasn't skillfully played, but Jund definitely has to navigate this matchup very intentionally.
You have to know what your cards are. You have to play them multiple turns ahead, which is also difficult against this deck,
right?
Because there's so many different ways for them to do their thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Abrupt occasion, your Assassin's trophies often aren't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You need more than one. You need to kind of plan out.
Right.
We thought that was a great start because hand disruption into
Right.
threat, and it just
Mhm.
wasn't good enough still.
Yeah, when I saw forest animation module be all that's left of Kwon's board, it seemed just zipped up
Over.
right there.
Yeah.
Reames did not find a way to close out that game.
If you take it back, would you have taken the animation module out of his head instead of walking ballistas?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. I feel like that was what helped him generate a little bit of advantage to turn the corner a little bit.
Sure.
Whereas walking ballistas may have been a non-factor, but
That's
you're just a
reasonable.
hard scaled away or some other combo piece away from making those walking ballistas unmanageable too. So
Walking Ballista, when I've faced down hardened skills, Ballista and Ravager are the scariest cards in the deck.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So I can see wanting to get that Ballista out of contention as soon as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Looking at the sideboard, Colgan's commands are obviously going to stay in. If he's got any extra ones in the sideboard, I think he's going to bring them in. Doesn't look like it though. Not a whole lot of options here. If you're,
Kalidas is very good.
Yep. Okay, that one's actually going to be really good against things going to the graveyard, and just Kalidas in general is just a life gainer, so it prevents the go wide strategies a lot and kind of gives them some ground.
Kalidas actually turns off the entire module mechanic out of Hardened Affinity.
Oh, no counters.
Yeah.
No counters.
Right.
It just got text on it.
Yeah, so Arcbound Ravager doesn't. Arcbound Ravager will still get counters,
right?
But the modular on Arcbound Ravager no longer works.
No longer moves things over.
Hangerback Walker no longer makes Thopters. A Kalidas can really make Kwon could make Kwon hurt here.
That's the first time we've seen a Kalidas in the sideboard today too. It is just a one of. Maybe he thought about it as like, hey, if I happen to play against Hardened Skills, I'll play it.
Just any creature deck, really.
Right. It's just a 3/4 blocker that it's good against humans.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what kind of he brings in there. What does Kwon have against Jund?
We've got in general he has 4 Grafdigger's Cage. We're not going to see that. 4 Nature's Claim. Probably not going to see that. Damping Sphere, no. Pithing Needle, maybe. I can see Pithing Needle coming in, depending on what he wants to come out. And then 2 Dismember, which I could also see coming in.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, if he senses like he's going to be behind a little bit to maybe some of Justice's Planeswalkers, we'll bring in the Pithing Needles. But Dismembers are definitely going to have the most utility. It's kind of a sideboard light game for both players, which I think helps out Kwon a lot here in game 2.
Right, yeah. Reames has a couple slam dunks in Collector Oof and Kalidas, but we'll see if he goes for things like Fulminator Mage or Plague Engineer. Plague Engineer on Construct can be really good against the... not Construct. Actually, Plague Engineer has a few different things you would want to name, so that might not be great here. But depending on Kwon's draw, Plague Engineer can do a lot of work.
Both players kept their 7. Reames is going to throw down a Bloodstained Mire and pass it back. Land go, says Kwon here. And we're kind of off into this one.
Yeah. Llanowar Reborn, land out of Hardened Affinity. Comes with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then has Graft, that old mainstay from Dissension, the Simic mechanic. When another creature enters, you can move the +1/+1 counter onto it. So if Kwon can get a Hardened Scales down here, that Llanowar Reborn is going to be great. Because the play is usually Hardened Scales into either a Ballista on 1, Hangerback Walker on 1, and then you graft 2 counters onto it because of the Hardened Scales.
Sure. And then with the Hardened Skills, you have 4.
Right.
So that's insane.
Yeah, so where Llanowar Reborn looks like a slow land because it comes into play tapped, it can actually lead to some explosive starts from Hardened Affinity.
Reames does fall down to 19 after fetching himself down there. Got to figure out a way to interact. Probably with the hand again would be a great start if he does have one of those explosive starts.
There's a tap swamp. Or no, that's Barrenmore.
Barrenmore.
Kind of like a tap
swamp.
Well,
at first I thought it was a swamp too, but then I was like, well, he's not doing anything. So Darksteel Citadel into Welding Jar. That's actually just a great pickup here. Like we were talking about, it hurts a lot of that 1-for-1 removal.
Especially because it doesn't look like Justice Reames has any hand disruption. So if Justice is holding on to, some Fatal Pushes, a Lightning Bolt, that Welding Jar is going to shut down that plan.
Steel Overseal is going to be in a tough spot. Bolt targeting, I imagine. He was targeting the Steel Overseal and sacked the Moxo.
Right.
Or the Welding Jar of Moxo.
So Steel Overseer is actually tapped, but it's summoning sick anyway, so players are just not going to acknowledge that. Regenerate is a very, very complex mechanic. It includes a lot of steps. It's an entire ritual.
Way too many rules, honestly, attached to it, but it does have so many sickness, so it doesn't totally matter. And we see
Ooh, is that Plague Engineer?
Plague Engineer.
Yep. Name Construct. See
Kill
ya.
your guy, yeah. I like that there a lot. Draw step here for Kwon. Laying some lands out. What's the line here for him? 4 mana.
2 options.
I don't know if that is that Mox Opal live.
1, 2, Dark Steel. Ooh.
No,
Looks like no.
No, it's not. So we shouldn't be able to cast anything off of that Mox Opal.
Yeah, Kwon can activate the Mox Opal by activating an Ink Moth Nexus, so you could use a mana to make
Use
a
a mana to
of
make
any
a mana.
color.
Right, right. So really
if we can
not
get that
super
resolved.
impactful, but yeah, we probably should get a judge over there just to point that out. But we're moving pretty fast past it. Doesn't look like a lot really changed because of it, but
Right.
it could be true on this turn if he tries to fire up 5 mana spell.
Well, he has it on now because the Throne of Death came in.
Right, right. Tacky for 1 poison. No blocks, pump it.
Yep.
To you for 2 poison. So
The first time I saw that ability on Blink Moth Nexus, I was appalled.
yeah,
Appalled.
yeah. This is this land that can do poison damage to me.
Also, the Blink Moth can pump it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to get
Assassin's
Assassin's Trophy.
so no damage there. 19 and 0 poison. It's a pretty expensive turn out of Kwon, actually, to just get eaten up by Assassin's Trophy.
Looks like Kwon is not hurting for mana, though. So what he really wants is impactful plays in hand, which Forest does not.
I thought I saw 2 forests in there.
Yep.
That's not. Then again, didn't matter last time. So
Right.
fetch at the end of the turn. Going to fall down to 18 to do that. But
Yeah, what
Forest.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What Reames needs to do here to keep this game from ending up like last game is really put on a clock. Find something that's going to reduce Kwon's life to 0.
Probably not.
That is a good first step. Yep. Goif. That is a very good first step.
Doing a little bit of a count here. Artifact, creature, land, instant. So, yep.
Yeah, this is a matchup where Goif can get quite good.
Attack you for 5, sends you down to 15. Like we talked about, if you like Tarmogoyfs, there it is on your screen. We've got 4 of them. You'll probably see it again if this match goes to Game 3. Arcbound Ravager.
Is that a Morphling on Reames' side of the table? That black sleeve. Oh, that's his deck.
It's his deck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
very neat.
yeah,
all in
it's
one
actually
stack.
very just one uniform
It
column.
looked like it could be one card.
Yeah, like
It looked
just
like it
this,
could be a Morphling.
Yeah,
They need to make a Morphling that's actually just your library.
that'd be insane. Like make your library
Yeah.
a Morphling,
Yeah.
and
Then you can flip it over and draw the entire thing.
that'd be neat. I'd be in for it.
All right, so we get an Arcbound Ravager, the spooky one, come down for Kwon.
If they print anything, so they'll print that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They print Hogak. They'll print that. Yes, there was a card in Unstable Animate Library where you turned your library into a creature.
Power toughness was equal to the amount of cards in the library. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. What
it was wild.
a thing. Yeah.
Good thing they didn't make that one modern legal.
Yeah.
Battle of Wits was just 1 card away from being tier 1.
We did have an attack earlier for 4, so Reames does drop down to 14. The Bloodbraid Elf and then the Plague Engineer were getting in there. I missed talking about that, but kind of just at a holding pattern right now. We're just trying to figure out his turn. Attacking is going to certainly be part of it, and there it is, attacking for 8. 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. And Kwon's trying to determine, do you
2 plus
block
3
here?
plus 4.
2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9.
Yep.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah,
Bloodbraid
9.
Elf is a big one.
Yeah, she's a big one. So actually, Kwon's actually at took 5 last turn, so he's actually at 10. And then he's attacking for, like we talked about, 9 this
So
turn.
he's got a block here. Yeah, Kwon's not in a great position now that Reames has been able to find something to reduce Kwon's life total.
I'm going to pump my Arcbound Ravager.
Oh, yeah. That's what we love
Sack-
about the card.
Yep, sack my Darksteel Citadel to make it bigger. Going to do that with my Mox Opal too.
Keep
And
it from being killed by... Oh, okay. No,
Yep.
we're just...
We're just going.
Oh, I see. It
He's
was
gonna
only
kill
a 3 before.
Tarmogoyf. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, he's going to kill Tarmogoyf now. And he's going to take 5 in the process. Shouldn't fall down to 5 by our scorebooks if you're keeping track along at home. But there is a Plague Engineer at the top of the screen here that can't be seen. But Kwon's got to figure something out here pretty quick on this turn, and it looks like we have a 2-mana play. Another Tarmogoyf's backbreaking.
Yeah. And the news.
And the news.
Yep. Rough. Yeah, and Arcbound Ravager not being a construct actually relevant here. It is a beast.
A 5/5 is a pretty big creature in Magic, especially in Modern. Going to eat both of the Tarmogoyfs like we talked about, but Kwon's life total is definitely something to worry about with 2 2/2s and a 3/2 on the board.
Right. Kwon can't just attack here.
Right, Kwon can't just attack here, and you see Kwon trying to figure out
There's
how
Blink Bot can attack.
make this guy sacrifice it.
Interesting.
Go. Wouldn't be surprised to see Reames. Excuse me, jeez. Wouldn't be surprised to see Reames just battle with everybody.
Yeah.
3 mana.
Okay, command. That'd be devastating. Gonna fetch down to 13 here. Maybe shock. Reames may not be. Nope. Just gonna go down to 13 or 14.
13.
13.
Yep.
13 guy. What's he gonna play here?
3 mana. Looks like a Colgan's command.
Just blacken it with red. Could be a Liliana.
Black, red, X.
I wouldn't play Lily.
Yeah, no, not when you have the Blink Bot next to
There's
us.
a Lily.
There's a Lily. Well, what do we know?
That's why I'm here and not playing.
Sacrifice guy. He's going to activate the Blink Bot Nexus, and then he's going to battle. Attack for more than your life total. Let's pick him up, and we're going to go to game 3.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Jun needs to do. Control the board,
Yes.
keep things open, do bigger than X for ones, and have a clock.
Yes.
Kwon had no time at all. So the 1-to-1, big round here in round 5. Looks like we have 8 rounds. If you win this one, you win your next one. You have a double draw on it.
Yes, most likely.
That's pretty tough to pass up if you're Reames or Kwon. So
Yeah.
important rounds are starting to come here.
Right. This is definitely. You could take this round. You could take a loss here and still be in pretty good shape.
Yep.
But you definitely want to be able to lock up. Just win this one and the next one, and I can double draw.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
That is a very good feeling in a tournament.
If you win this round, you can basically say, I have a couple of winning ends, top 8, a big stressor off your back. You can afford some misplays later on the way. But one of these guys is going to have a lot more work to do after this round. And I'm not really sure who it's going to be because both of these matchups played out pretty one-sidedly.
Yeah.
Plagued Engineer did a good thing taking care of the Steel Overseer, and that kind of prevented some big turns from Kwon.
Both of these decks really. You hear a lot about mid-range decks. If you draw the wrong half of the deck, you're going to lose. And both of these decks really suffer that same disease.
Yes, they do. Almost to a fault. Like I was a Jun player for a long time, and it was just so frustrating. Having a little discussion over how many cards were there because of Reames' cards are so neat.
Yeah.
We were talking about.
Right, yeah.
It looked like maybe there could have been more than 7. There wasn't. We're fine. But Reames actually says, you know what? I want 6 instead. Kwon mulling over his keep, though. Mulling over his keep. Wow, what a turn phrase.
Yep.
Now, which playmat do you like better here? Do you like the...
Oh, the Exelon one.
Yeah, okay.
sure.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page.
Yeah, that one's hot. It's not one you see a lot. Obviously, a store champion to be respected.
Right. Right. I feel like I've seen a lightning bolt before.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is for me. Not a bad art by any means.
Right.
Definitely
that's an
can't.
amazing lightning
I like Kwon keeping it simple here, but just if we're talking about which one we like better.
Yeah, really what my burn opponent looks like when they're thinking for 3 minutes and I'm at 3 and tapped out and they have lightning bolt in hand. And they finally cast it. That's what they look like.
And there's the hard skills.
Hardened Scales. This is a card we didn't see in... Did we see it in game 1?
No, we haven't seen it yet today.
Yeah.
So this is the namesake of the deck. It's the biggest combo piece. Reames has to be shuddering a little bit when he sees it.
Right.
If you would get a counter, you get double that many. So
Right, and Reames actually just has straight up no way to interact with this on 1 mana. So if he gets a game, which this is one of those games, where he can land it on turn 1 and then follow it up with a turn 2 play that really maximizes Hardened Scales, like a Hangerback Walker, Walking Ballista, Arcbound Ravager with a couple artifacts, that could spell trouble for Reames. So we'll see what he has here. It is a Metallic Mimic.
Okay,
so
well
that's not an immediate impact.
These are 2 big setup turns.
Yes.
The problem that I have with this turn is that it gives Reames a chance to draw into interaction. Some of his lightning bolts, a 2 mana play.
Right.
Doesn't look like he necessarily has anything, or else looks like another Tarmogoyf. Is that Tarmogoyf?
Yep.
So the old 0-1 Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, so this is a case of Reames perhaps drawing the wrong half of his deck. If Kwon gets a construct here that is, like a hangerback walker or a walking ballista where the number of +1/+1 counters on it matter. This could be, there it is, a walking ballista.
And sir, I mean, this is tough because
You can, that Goif is a 0/1. Goif
Yep.
is a 0/1 right now. It died to a walking ballista. That Goif would have died to a random 6. You do not
Wow.
want that.
That's a tough spot if you're Reames. You almost wonder, question playing it out, just because that's such a possibility.
Right.
And we have double protection from Welding Jar here. So Reames is definitely behind the barrel here. Scavenging Ooze is not going to be good enough. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see just like an activate my walking ballista to put 2 counters on it.
Yeah.
Mow down to your Scavenging Ooze. No land from Reames.
Yeah. So here, oh, he can't activate it yet. Those are Welding Jars, not.
Oh, those are land. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
That legendary also. Welding Jar should be legendary.
It should be well. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What a busted card, Welding Jar.
It's so good.
Just play more. What is it? Shattering Blow.
Yeah.
Shattering Blow. Play Shattering Blow.
1 mana spell.
Oxidize.
Oxidize. Oh wow. So you'd be good at mental magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get you a good Magic player rewards Oxidize. It's actually really good art. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't actually seen this. 2 off-camera plays are coming down here. Looks like that one of them was a modular. You about to pull out an Oxidize to show me.
Magic player rewards Oxidize, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
There's a bloodbath happening on screen, so I'm going to look at an Oxidize really fast. But
it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Gonna get in there and attack with the Metallic Mimic. Do some damage to. Excuse my giant yawn there, by the way. I'm just.
Lunch, babe. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, chicken wings for lunch were a negative, medium minus decision for our moods.
Right.
Metallic Mimic is a 2/1.
It is a 2/1. Yes.
Yeah, can't see it from up here, but powerful spell gonna knock him down to 18. Scavenging Ooze was the play on tapping with it and passing back. Still no 3rd land for Reames. This is not the way you drew it up. Arcbound Ravager coming in. Oh, it is nice art. It's very simple. I like it. I think that on my wall. That's that kind of art. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Big fan.
Kamigawa theme.
But the Arcbound Ravager with the hardened scales here, and we did just see an activation of Walking Ballista, so it's big. Everything's big. Everything's getting multiple counters. It's mayhem down there. Scavenging Ooze is dead now.
Yeah, this is looking like it's Kwon's game. So we've got a metallic. Especially with Arcbound Ravager. So now even if Arcbound Ravager double Welding Jar, Reames just has no good options here.
Attacking for 9/2, going to knock him down to 9. I really don't like the position that Reames is in. I don't know what you do here to come back. No really big catch-up cards. You would need to draw 2 lands.
Yeah, it starts maybe with that.
So it's maybe with a Lightning Bolt. I'm going to pump it, though. So
2. Oh, this feels terrible.
Wow. Losing the onboard tricks is frustrating.
It's possible maybe a Ghost Quarter before doing that would have been the correct play, but also that puts Reames on 2 lands, so just in a rough spot here. Does not have a lot of options at all.
And you see Reames play into his outs. Like losing the onboard tricks is always frustrating, but honestly, he doesn't have a lot to do.
Could have been a Welding Jar too.
Yeah, well,
that
wow.
Lightning Bolt is trading with something.
Right. And you have to start somewhere if you're Reames. I don't envy his position at all, and he's kind of in a tough spot. But he's going to pass it back with nothing to do. Finally found his 3rd land in Verdant Catacombs.
Probably too late.
Lands that deal damage to you at this stage of the game aren't where you want to be. There is a Walking Ballista up there that can do the final points of damage.
Yeah,
attack with everybody.
This is gory.
Reames try to figure out what he has in his hand. I don't know what card gets you out of this because
It's all of them.
All of those, yep.
Oh, Maelstrom Pulse, Assassin's Trophy.
All these extra 1 cards that no black mana.
Yeah, no black mana.
Yeah, no black mana.
So this is, land problems aside, I think Reames definitely just saw the wrong half of his deck.
Right, and that's tough. Saw the wrong half of his deck, didn't draw lands. Was pretty much destined to lose that one, it feels like. Hardened Scales did its thing.
Yeah.
No way to interact. So hopefully we're going to get you our second game over there.
That
was pretty fast. But with the way our luck's been going, we'll find out. We're going to take a quick break while we switch that over, and if not, we're going to come back and let you know.